Hey guys, welcome to the PillowFort podcast. We are back here again going over One Piece. This week we're going over the Arlong Park arc, which is chapters 69 through 95 for those of you who are reading along with us. And I think this is a very interesting arc, but Kate is here with me once again. We're both going through it. So Kate, tell me, as I ask every episode, give me some general thoughts about the Arlong Park arc. How do you feel about it after reading it?
Yeah, I definitely like this arc. We get introduced to so many interesting characters, so many different, interesting personalities and, concepts as well, even, themes that are throughout this arc, as well as, I really appreciate the trope of somebody, appearing to be a bad person, but actually being a good person. That's one of my favorite tropes, to be honest, is when that happens in any kind of series. And that definitely happened with Nami, obviously, here, where, we saw her do a lot of stuff that we were like, wait a second, that's really evil and bad. But then it ended up actually being that, we uncovered more about her and why she's doing what she's doing, and that she's actually doing the most that she can, kind of, at this point, for, Luffy's crew and everything,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great arc. It's a really great arc. And Nami, it took Nami from a character, I think, in my mind at least, from a character that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm glad she's a part of the crew. I like her addition. I think she adds a lot, emotionally to this group. And certainly intellectually to this group. But, to, a character that I'm she is incredible. She's an incredible character.
Yeah.
And I, this read-through really hit me. But before we get any further into that, at the very beginning of this arc, right, Yosaku is on the boat with Sanji and Luffy. They're going to whatever the island name is that Arlong Park is on. I don't know what the name of the island is. I know villages, but I can't remember the island name.
Do they actually
don't
even
say
the name?
No,
yeah,
I don't think they say it.
Do.
But anyway, they're going to that island, right? And on the way, Yosaku is telling them about the 7 warlords of the sea, and we've already met one in Mihawk. We've learned that he's one of these 7 that are pirates who are aligned with the world government. They give the world government a kickback of their treasure, and they're loyal to them in exchange for the world government not hunting them down as pirates. And we learned that this Arlong was a former crewmate of one of them. Somebody named Jinbei. He names him, right? He names Jinbei.
Yeah, he says Jinbei.
Yeah, so this is the first time the 7 warlord concept was introduced to us in the manga. And so I'm wondering how you feel about this system. These pirates that have this kind of relationship with the world government. Do you think this would be a good idea or a bad idea? What are your thoughts on the warlords in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword in a way that it would be a good idea for some people and, not a good idea for other people,
Right.
And on the world government's part, it's probably a pretty smart idea, to, become friendly with some of the strongest pirates that are out there. Because, if these pirates were to turn against the world government, it would not be good for them at all. Especially if altogether they were to turn against the world government, it would not be good for them. So, it's good in a way for them, but, I mean, it's also bad in a way for them, because, how are you really gonna tie down and control pirates?
Right, yeah.
That cannot be easy. Simply being oh yeah, we'll kill you or whatever, if you decide to go against us. A lot of them, we saw Mihawk, right? We already met Mihawk. he's obviously not very scared of being
No.
challenged. So
There's no way. We have not met a Marine who could take Mihawk. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, it seems almost like it is more to the benefit of the pirates than anything else, honestly, because now they don't have the Marines and the world government constantly trying to track them down and capture them, right? Which is a big weight and, like, kind of just a big headache, honestly, after.
Well, that's the whole thing that Kuro didn't want. Like, that's the whole thing that Kuro was, like, trying to get out of, was being chased all the time. So, I mean, I understand the benefits. There's definitely benefits for them. I don't want to talk too much about this because I know too much, and I think even you know too much. But, so I just wanted to touch on it because it is mentioned, and we have two named ones, Mihawk that we've seen, and whoever this Jinbei is, who released Arlong from prison whenever he accepted the title. And so, but what I think is interesting about that is it then goes right into the scene where we meet Captain Nezumi, right? He's a captain, which is insane, by the way. The name of captain is being dragged through the mud. But but Captain Nezumi, we'll get there in an arc, so nobody be concerned. One more arc and we're you'll see why I like the rank of captain. But but, like, we go right to this situation where it's like Arlong is doing the same thing on, like, a small scale with that Captain Nezumi. He, like, pays him off, and then Nezumi just doesn't touch him, just lets him go and, like, have dominion over this island. And so, I thought that was interesting. He's got kind of, like, a similar setup going on a small scale. But, so, what are your Nezumi thoughts? What are your Captain Nezumi thoughts? How do you feel? First of all, let me just let you know that Nezumi literally just means rat in Japanese. Yeah. That's what it is. So,
I think they
how do you
said that, right? Like,
I think they did, didn't they? They made a pun about it.
Yeah, they were like, doesn't his name mean rat? And he looks like a rat.
Little on the head there, Rhoda. Little on the head. He has whiskers. Why does he have whiskers?
Yes, I don't know.
Did he put them on there himself? Has he just embraced this ideology? Are they fake?
Who knows?
I hope they're fake. I hope they're fake. I hope that he goes home, looks himself in the mirror, and he goes, I'm glad that I glued these to my face.
Right, but who would want to, like, be known as the Rat Man, you know?
This guy, clearly he's the worst.
He is. He's a rat. He's a little rat.
Yeah, Nezumi sucks. Nezumi doesn't.
Those are my thoughts about him. He's the worst, and he's a rat.
Every time I find a Marine in this series, I always think about Kobe, and I'm like, Kobe would hate you, Nezumi. He would. Yes. Kobe would punch you himself.
Yes, Kobe would absolutely hate him.
I don't like Nezumi.
Yeah, he's not good at all. Like, he's obviously going against his job, basically, right?
Right.
Which is to defend and protect the people from, like, people that would hurt them, right? Which in this case are, in fact, the Arlong pirates. They're hurting them. They're like, you have to pay this ridiculous fee every month, or we will actually kill you. You know? Like, that's...
Yeah, we'll just murder the whole town.
Or, like, not just kill you, but destroy the entire village that you live in if one person doesn't have the money. Like, that's what we'll do. And, like, he's just, like, Nezumi is just like, yeah, that's cool. That's fine. As long as you, like, give me money, I'm cool with that. I'm down.
Yeah, I don't care. He's like, I don't care what happens here.
Yeah. And that's just, like, incredibly shitty. So, like...
Yeah. These other Marines that are on his ship, what are you guys doing? I
don't know what they're doing. Why doesn't nobody report him?
Here's my problem, right? So I try to put myself in this spot, right? I've been recruited. I'm a Marine. I'm, like, very happy about being part of the Navy, right? And I get put under Captain Nezumi, right? He's the superior officer. And we roll up on Arlong Park, right?
Yeah.
We roll up on Arlong Park. I'm looking around. I'm taking stock of what's going on, and I pee myself and just pray they don't notice. That's what happens, I think.
Yeah.
I think these guys... Because there's no way. I mean, these...
Yeah.
First of all, let's just go right into Arlong Pirates' thoughts. We're kind of introduced to them. Fishmen are scary. Fishmen are incredibly intimidating. He's like double the height of humans. Like, Arlong is huge.
Yeah. He's ginormous.
Yeah, how do you feel about Arlong? Give me some Arlong thoughts. If you
I think Arlong...
Initial thoughts. Obviously, we'll get into more as we go, but...
Right. Arlong, you know, I think he's pretty good, like, as a villain, you know? Obviously, he's not good, like, as a
Not person, a great guy. You know? No, not a great guy. Not a great guy, for sure.
But, like... I don't know, it's hard because a part of me is like, why go from the Grand Line and just to choose this random island to set up shop and be like, oh yeah, like, you're just all gonna give me money and I'm gonna stay here. Like, I feel like that's almost like, okay, but like, are you really being a pirate anymore? Because you're not, like, going across the sea or anything anymore. Like, you're not trying to discover treasures or even trying to, like, you know, just travel and adventure or whatever you want to do, you know? Like, you're just setting up shop and being like, okay, this is just going to be my constant flow of income, and that's where I'm going to get it. And I'm just going to stay here and do that, set up almost my little, like, empire, you know, here, and then try and spread that out and expand it. Which, like, is definitely, like, a big villain thing to do, for sure.
Sure,
but, like, I don't know if it's, like, a big pirate thing, too, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a couple things I really like about it. I like that, like, and I think I said something about this last episode, too. Like, Don Krieg is the most feared pirate in the East Blue because people don't know that Arlong's here.
Yeah.
Like, Arlong is definitely stronger. Like, if they fought, there's no chance Don Krieg is winning. But, like, there's, like, I say there's no chance. I mean, he wouldn't be the worst, but, like, he would definitely lose, right? Like, Arlong's coming out on top, but, like, they don't know that Arlong's there, so the Marines are not that concerned. It's only Nezumi, and he's getting paid off, so he's not tipping anybody off to this at all. So I like that aspect of it. I like the fact that he's keeping, like, a low profile. But also, like, his plan to, like, expand out into the East Blue, because it's the weakest ocean, like, it's the ocean with the least amount of big threats, is so, like, it really, obviously a large part of his character is this incredible racism towards humans. Like, he's, like, very much like, you are just inferior species. There's an argument to be made that that would be like it would be like us being racist towards monkeys, honestly. But, like, there's, like, an argument to be made that they're so different that, like, where is the line? But,
and then,
but at the same time,
they have all this racism at the same time, right? But then they also get defeated by humans.
Right. Oh, for sure. Well, I think that's the point. I think part of the point is you were wrong. You were wrong about that. That was not correct.
Right.
And, like, I think that's the point. I don't think it's... But that's what I'm saying about this whole, like, conquering the East Blue thing. He goes to the weakest ocean, and is this not, like, saying something about the mentality that he has? That he is, somewhere in his mind, he's unsure that he could conquer other oceans. And so he's like, I'm going to start with the weakest one and begin to build it there. Because he's not confident that he can do it in an area, like, on the Grand Line even, because he came from the Grand Line. So he's not confident he could do it there. So what's different? Like, so there's some kind of weakness there. And I know too many things about this now, and so I got to stop. Because there is an arc that's going to happen way in the future. There's one of my favorite arcs in the whole show that we'll get way more into that. But, yeah, so, you know, look forward in 2025 for that podcast coming out.
That's when we'll be
that's when we'll get there. It's gonna be a minute, folks, but we'll get there. But yeah, no, Arlong is incredibly intimidating to me, but we'll even get into there later too. But so this is one of the first instances of the Straw Hats splitting up for like a good chunk of the arc, right? How? And we're gonna see that. I mean, you've read, all the way much further down the line than we are right now, right? So you've seen this happen other times. You know that this is a thing that Oda likes to do, where he creates the little groups and has them kind of do their own thing, and then come back together for the final battle. How do you feel about this format? Do you like it? Not like it? Give me something about that.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot of the time. It does, I mean, as we get further into the series, it does get a little bit overplayed, I feel like, at some points.
I think as we add more crew members, it gets harder to kind of keep everybody's groups in mind. But this one's pretty simple. There's only 5 of them to remember. Right.
So it's pretty simple. I do like it a lot in this one, especially, just because there's this, level of mystery around whether Nami's a good person or not, Right. And so we have that information getting to different groups at different moments, right? About what she's actually doing, and obviously when oh gosh, what's her name?
You're talking about her sister?
Yeah.
Nojiko.
Oh, Nojiko, that's it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nojiko, tells, Usopp and Sanji about it, and then Luffy had just gone off to go on a walk, he just left. He's I don't need to know, because in a way it seems like Luffy already knows that Nami's a good person,
This is the best thing ever.
And which is so great, because he's just I don't need to know. Zoro falls asleep. So, so we have, the actual information getting to different people at different times, as well as, the villagers and everything, and, other people that are involved. But yeah. I like it in this arc, though. I like it a lot here.
Yeah. I'll wait to get into some of my thoughts about the backstory, but yeah. But no, I like it too. I think it's hilarious that Usopp and Johnny just abandoned Zoro on the ship in the very beginning, just to get taken. Yeah, they abandoned ship. I think that was funny.
I thought that was funny too.
And I think it serves the purpose of keeping 2 of our real heavy hitters away from the rest of the action until the end, like Luffy and Sanji, because they're coming to the island. They're not there yet, so it helps in the people that are taking action are Usopp and Nami, and so you're yikes. And Zoro's doing stuff, but he's always seems like he misses the main action. He's always doing something else. And he's doesn't quite get the main action. But that does bring me to, so Nami comes, Nami comes back when they've captured Zoro, right? And she's saying she doesn't care about him, and Zoro's I knew it all along, right?
Yeah.
Zoro jumps into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Because he figures that she's gonna. How do you feel about this moment? Because, it says so much about Zoro. That's scary. It's one of those Zoro moments that I'm wow, that was a big gamble there, buddy. What if she didn't care about you? What? I mean, you thought she didn't for sure. Why would you not? Yeah. Why would you do that?
I think now, after seeing, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what Arlong said, but I think he said something about the village or Bellamy or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was Nami's face in that moment, and nobody else saw it but Zoro. Okay, and right. I think that may have tipped him off to, but even then but
then he just blows her cover.
It's still a gamble. It's still
he just blows her cover too.
Right.
Even if he knows for sure she's gonna save him, he just then blew the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, now they
I
know
mean,
that she couldn't let him drown. Like,
yeah, I think, like, there's also a certain level of maybe overconfidence in this situation that Zoro has to deal with the situation. Like,
for sure.
I think, like, he might believe, like, that if she does save him, and, like, if that happens, and if they start to turn against her and both of them, that maybe he could defeat all of them, right? Like, he thinks that he could possibly
I guess that could be true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Maybe he's
like,
that overconfident.
especially now, like, I mean, this is the first time he's really encountered a fish man, right? So, like,
That's
he
true.
doesn't probably know a lot about them either, so, I mean, like, most enemies, to be honest, that Zoro encounters, he can defeat.
Yeah.
So, like, he could have even just been thinking of that, or even just on the side of, like, knowing how, like, smart Nami is and thinking on her feet. Like, knowing that she might be able to get them out of the situation, you know? Like, she might be able to get herself out of the situation, but he needs to know, it seems like, in this moment, if she really does, like, not care at all. And obviously she shows that she does still care, because she jumps in after him and saves him, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a test by him. He's definitely trying to see, is she going to save me or not? Because that's going to help me determine, you know, whether
I save her.
whether she's with us or not. Yeah.
Right.
And then, you know, eventually she lets him go and he just messes up everybody in the hideout, but
right.
Which is again just blowing cover. Zoro, why? But not made for stealth, this man. Definitely not made for stealth. I will say that, like, the statistics on a fishman are that they're 10 times stronger than a normal person on land and 100 times stronger in water. But, like, Zoro is at least 10 times stronger than a normal guy, right? So, like...
Yeah.
I mean, and I would say definitely more than that, honestly. Like, so, like... It's, they're biologically stronger, but, like, not than Zoro. Like, then...
Yeah.
Kobe,
Zoro is also just training stronger than anyone.
It's gonna take 10 Kobes to beat one fishman.
Right.
It's gonna take 10 Kobes to arm wrestle one fishman, right? But it's gonna take, like, half a Zoro to arm wrestle a fishman. Like,
not even half, probably. Probably, like...
he, like, slaughtered the whole group there.
He killed a lot of them. Like,
they're dead. Like, Arlong says they're dead.
There were, like, bodies quite literally everywhere, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, we also meet, as we mentioned, Nami's sister, Nojiko, and Genzo from Kokoyashi Village. Mr. Genzo, whatever we want to call him. Pinwheel hat guy. We'll start with Nojiko. Like, how do you feel about Nojiko as a character?
I love Nojiko a lot.
What a supportive sister, right?
I know. Like, she's so great. And, like, it seems like, you know, even, like, from seeing their backstory and everything, like, the anger that she has at Nami for, like, you know, kind of, at first when she thinks, like, she's just straight up betrayed, you know, the village and Bellamy and everybody after she joined the Arlong Pirates. And then, like, you know, those moments where, like, Nojiko finds Nami at Bellamy's grave, and, like, they actually end up talking, like, one-on-one, like sisters, you know? About what actually has been transpiring and what's actually happening to Nami. And, like, I think, like, Bellamy, she is really, honestly, a good sister. Just because, like, she's like, I want to do everything in my power that I can to, like, help Nami with this, you know? And, like, I don't doubt, even for a second, that if, like, she could take the weight off of Nami's shoulders, that she would, you know? Like, if she knew how to draw maps like Nami did, that she would 100% take her place, right? Like, I don't doubt that for a second. And, like, she's just so great. I appreciate her so much. And, like, even, it's so funny, right? Because, like, you know, she has, like, these tattoos and everything.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so funny that one of the Usopp's first moments with her is like, you seem like a pretty decent person even though you have tattoos. Like,
can you tell that this was written in early 2000s Japan? Can you tell?
Yeah. Yeah, like, you can tell, definitely, that there's a time. Because, I mean, now, it seems like almost now tattoos are pretty much commonplace, right? Like, probably you know at least a few people that have multiple tattoos. I'm one of them, so you can count me along.
And you probably don't think anything about it, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, it's not, like, it doesn't have that stigma. I almost like, though, obviously, I'm not in, like, real life, but I like what, like, it means, you know? She's like, Nami has to bear this. And like you said, she would take Nami's burden if she could. And that's part of it. Like, the tattoo is, like, part of it. She's, like, getting tattoos. She's like, now you don't got to be embarrassed because I have one, too. Like, we're in it together. It's, like, it's a nice little thought that she has. And Nojiko is awesome. I love the speech she gives to that kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with Usopp's, you know, when they're at their house. And Usopp's there, and she gives the kid, like, the speech is pretty much like, she's like, yeah, everyone's dead. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And the kid's like, I can't do anything. She's like, do you have a mom? Yeah? Go home then. Love your mom. Like, I was like...
She's like, you don't have to do it. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, it's just about you living, you know? It's about you living with a smile, like Bellamy taught them to do.
And it's such, like, the thing with this town of, like...
Yes.
They're so... And, like, that's even, like... I mean, this is obviously, you know, a transition in talking about Genzo, too. But this is, like, the theme of this town is, like, they all have known what Nami's doing. They all have known for years and years and years, right? Nojiko told them all. So, like, they're just trying to quietly support Nami as she does this, and, like, that's their fight. And so, of course, she says this to this kid. She's like, listen, you have no chance in the world of beating Arlong. So, do you want to just go home and maybe try to live? And that's, like, the whole Genzo's thing. Like, their whole thing is, like, our resistance is surviving. Like, we, as long as we're alive, there will come an opportunity. Which, obviously, in this arc, we see proves true. But that brings me to Genzo. How do you feel about Genzo? Because... I have thoughts about Genzo, and that's not even taking into account his like the maybe relationship with Bellamere. I don't know, like what that is, but I'm not even gonna address that. It seems clear to me, and I'm just gonna let the viewers make their own assumptions.
Yeah, but. You can make your own assumptions about the Genzo Bellamy relationship.
Yeah, you can. Oda doesn't say anything about relationships in general, but I will be making other claims in this video about that. So we'll stick to stick to Genzo as a character, because we see him and he's like sitting with I don't know. He's like got all those scars. Like obviously we see how he got them, but like, how do you feel about Genzo? All things said, how do you feel about him?
I love Genzo so much. He's so great. Like first of all, his like design and him having like all of those scars and everything, and like the contrast between that and like then the pinwheel hats.
I love
which is something that Luffy heavily capitalizes on.
Yes.
He's like
that's who he is to Luffy. He is a pinwheel with a human attached. That's what
he is. He's a pinwheel with a human attached. Yeah, but like from his appearance and everything, you're like, okay, this guy kind of looks a little intimidating. Just because like he has these scars all over his body and everything, and just like, oh my gosh, the courage that he has to like, he was gonna go to war, you know, for Nami, basically, right? And he did try and like tried his absolute best to stop them from killing Bellamy, to stop them from taking Nami. Like he did quite literally everything in his power to stop that from happening, knowing that it could end up with him just being dead. And he was, like, okay with that, it seemed like. He was like, if it will save them, you know, like, it's fine. Like, I would rather have them be able to live and continue to be a family than, like, you know, having my own life in this situation, you know?
Right.
Which is, like, incredibly, like, courageous, you know, for him to do. As well as just, like, his, you know... his continued, like, support and everything, and, like, telling all of the townspeople, like, we can't tell Nami that we know what she's doing.
Right.
Because I don't want her to feel like she can't just pack up and leave one day. Like,
like, she could
like
just
that,
go.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing to
These
me.
people
Just
are
like,
the best.
oh my gosh, like this village of people. Oh my gosh, we would all be so lucky to live in a town with
They're
people
amazing.
like this.
They're all amazing.
They're all incredible. But yes, I love Genzo so much. He's really great.
Yeah, he's awesome, and it's clear he's got clear, like, dad vibes towards Nami and Nojiko, like. And, like, that goes into the whole, you know, what's happening with Bellamere. Like, that's, like, you know, it goes into that. But, like, it's clear. Like, what I love about him, though, is he's quick on his feet. He's a quick thinker. Like, we see in the flashback, he, like, makes up the story about, like, oh, yeah, me and Doc were coming over for dinner. That's why the plates were set up like this. Like, he's quick to think about, okay, how are we going to get out of this, right?
Yeah.
But then when that doesn't work, he grabs the sword and he's like, "This is all I got. Let's go." Like,
right.
I like the idea that he can also think about these actions, and obviously wants to avoid a fight because he does realize it's almost a hopeless gamble. But like, he will take the gamble if he has to. Like,
absolutely.
I like Genzo. I like Genzo a lot. I want to be Genzo. I would like to. I would like
to become Genzo.
I am a new father of 8 months, almost 9. A couple days it'll be 9 months. I want to be Genzo. That's who I want to be. Yeah. He's great. But
that's great.
Moving in an entirely different direction because we've got a lot of arc to cover. So there's a giant sea cow in this. I don't know if you saw that. Momu is the best. I have to. So I'm a big fan of bovine of all kinds, as no one would know other than you. And so there is a mural of cows on my wall right now that I'm looking at. And so I like cows. And so a giant sea cow is amazing to me. I love this thing. I didn't have anything else to say about Momu. I just wanted to mention Momu because I love him.
Giant nose ring. Like, how did he get that?
How sad. Look how sad he gets. Like, they beat the tar out of him.
He doesn't want to fight them anymore because he's like, I don't want to get beat up.
Yeah, I just he comes out of the water all ready to go, and then he sees it's them, and he's like, oh, shucks. And then Arlong is like, where are you going? And he gets so scared.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a no-win situation for Momu.
This sea cow is being bullied by everyone. So
absolutely,
somebody needs
all
to
sides.
Give him a break.
All sides. Everybody's hurting the sea cow. But yeah, that's all I had about Momu. But moving on. Unless you had more on Momu, I didn't think there was a whole lot to say.
We should probably move on. If we spend too long talking about Momu,
we're gonna do another Usopp's nose problem. Right. Talk about Usopp's nose for half an hour. Yeah. So anyway, speaking of Usopp's nose, Usopp gets caught by them, right? Because he interferes, and this is again, might I say, Usopp is brave. He keeps doing these things that he cannot win. He almost got a house dropped on him. But anyway, so he gets captured, right? And then a very similar scene to Nami and Zoro happens.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it seems very similar.
Yeah.
This whole obviously Nami, acts very differently, but the whole foe killing him. That was super interesting. I really liked that.
I really liked
added
that too.
suspense to if I was a weekly reader, I would have flipped out, right? Because one chapter just ends and you're like, oh my gosh, she killed Usopp.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I was a weekly reader, it'd be very suspenseful. But, like, yeah, no, what'd you think about that moment, that whole interaction with those two?
I loved that, like, interaction. I love that moment. Because, I mean, like, Nami is smart enough to know that she needs to do something pretty drastic to re-earn the trust of the Arlong pirates, right?
Yeah.
Like, she knows that they're starting to lose trust in her slowly. Because these people that are saying they're her friends and her crewmates are, like, coming up, and they keep reappearing and keep doing things that would suggest that Nami's character is different than she has presented it as, you know? And with that, like, she knew that she needed to do something drastic, but she also knows that she doesn't actually want to kill Usopp.
Right.
And she also knows that if she doesn't, like, pretend to kill Usopp, that Usopp is gonna die.
Right.
So, she, like, comes up
thinker.
with this plan to stab her own hand instead of stabbing Usopp, which is also, like, you know, a sacrifice on her part, because she doesn't know what's gonna happen when she stabs her own hand, you know? Like, she doesn't know, like, what if she missed, like, a little bit from the direct center of her hand, like, she could have lost some fingers and everything, like, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, that's, like, a pretty
for
big,
sure.
you know, sacrifice to make as well for, honestly, these people that she kind of just met. Like, she did not meet them too long ago. So it's definitely, like, I really love this moment because it shows a lot of Nami's intelligence as well as, like, her resourcefulness and thinking of, how do I do this so that I can still continue to do what I need to do for my village, but that Usopp also gets out of here with his life, you know?
Right. And it, like, I love where it leaves Usopp, right? I love that where, like, it leaves him in this state of, like, absolute confusion. Like, he's like,
yeah,
I was gonna say she was evil, but now I'm alive, so...
He's like, I am confused.
And it's perfect to do it with him because, like, she's not... Like, this would not have gone the same with any of the other members, right? She has to... Like, she knows... She's confident enough in Usopp to know, like, that he'll know, okay, once I hit the water, I gotta swim away. Like... he's not gonna pop back up and be like, "You didn't get me," like, which is what Zoro would definitely do. Like
Zoro and Luffy and anybody else.
Sanji would probably just
Luffy,
be like,
obviously.
"You must have
Luffy
missed. Let me help
start
you."
Drowning, but
Yeah, that's true. But, like, I just, like, it's like, you know, and so, like, Usopp ends up being super confused as he's like, I don't know how to take what just happened because I definitely was saved. She definitely saved me. Because I would have absolutely died otherwise. But what is happening? And that's where... actually, real quick. Navy Base 77, specifically Commodore Purin, shows up. Because they get word that this is going... That Arlong is taking over an island, right? And so they show up to try and take him out. And this is... I feel like he is only in this story to show... like, how strong the Arlong pirates are.
Yeah.
Because, like, he gets wrecked pretty quick.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And, like, Arlong's no joke. Like, the Arlong pirates are messed up. Especially the three officers, like Hachi, Karubi, and Chu. Essentially, it's just the three of them take the whole, like, ship down.
Yeah.
So it definitely, like, I love that it shows how strong they can be with Nami's expertise. Like, they're like, we can do this because Nami knows, like, showed us exactly where the currents are. Like, so we almost don't have to fight, you know?
Yeah.
We can use the ocean against them, which is just, I mean, genius, but...
That is very smart.
It shows both how essential Nami is to their operation and how terrifying they are. And, like, reinforces, like, a feeling of, like, there is no hope. Nobody's coming. There's no way out. Nobody's coming for us. Which is what Nojiko has said all along, but the kid got happy again, so we had to squash his feelings because there is no hope.
Yeah.
You will die in misery. This
I mean,
this town
in the end,
is
you
the
would
best.
rather have squashed feelings than a dead kid on your hands. So
Absolutely. I understand. Listen, I'm 110% with this town. I could not be more with Kokoyashi Village. I couldn't be more with them. But it's tough. It's tough to take. It's a tough pill to swallow, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this leads to what I think is a genius setup, right? In Nojiko telling them the backstory of Nami. And how she does it is genius. Luffy, who has already made up his mind, right? And we see that when Nami shows up and is like screaming at them to leave. And Luffy's like, I'm just going to nap in the street.
I'm going to take a nap.
Like, I'm just going to take a nap here.
Yep.
It's like, it's just the dumbest way to be like, I'm not going anywhere. Like,
I'm not going anywhere. Right.
I do what I want. You can't tell me where to go. But also, I'll be here when you need it. Like,
right.
And then, like, he walks away because he's already made up his mind. He doesn't care what Nami went through. Like, he doesn't care in the sense of, like, it's not going to change what he's going to do. Right?
Absolutely
like, he just is going to help. That, like, he's going to get his navigator back. He's made that decision. Zoro, who is still probably skeptical, right? But he's tested her himself, right? With the whole jumping in the water. So he's pretty confident that she's with them. He takes a nap because he doesn't need to hear it at all. If Luffy says jump, Zoro just jumps. He doesn't need to know. Like, Nami could be pure evil and he won't care. If Luffy says save her, he'll save her, right? And so he falls asleep. He doesn't need to hear it. The two, Usopp, who's super confused because he just got faux stabbed to death. Yeah. And Sanji, who's brand new to this crew. Yeah. He, like, has met Nami at a dinner table one time so far. Yeah. Like, those are the two that get the backstory. Oh, yeah, but would still on the basis of the fact that she is an attractive lady, would definitely still jump in the fray. But he doesn't have the emotional attachment that they're going to need to have the kind of moment that they're going to have later. But that's why it's so like, Oda sets it up perfectly that it's those two that hear this backstory. Yeah, but the backstory itself is amazing. Let's talk about Bellamere herself. And we kind of touched on Bellamere a little bit already, but what are your thoughts on her?
I love Bellamere so much.
She's amazing. She amazing.
Is freaking amazing. I gotta tell you. Like, she's so great, like, to the point, I think it's so funny, like, at the beginning, well, not funny, but it's so great at the beginning, like, we see, not, like, during even this backstory, I don't think, but, like, later on, we see that, you know, when she first brought Nojiko and Nami home, the villagers were like, just give them over to the government, like, let them take care of them, because, like, we don't think that you're quite ready to be a mom, basically.
You should not have children. We're worried about you having children.
Like, we don't think that that's a good idea. And, like, just the persistence that she has in being, like, I don't know what's gonna happen to them, you know, when I send them out there, when they, you know, get sent to the government or whatever. But I know that I can, like, give them what they need, at least, which is, like, food and shelter and love and a family, you know? Like, I can give them those things, and I will. Like, I will do everything in my power. And just, like, the sacrifices that she makes, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm not gonna eat so that they can eat. But she tells them, oh, I'm just on a diet. I'm on a diet, so it's fine. Like, don't worry about whether I'm eating or not. I have plenty of oranges to eat, you know? I'm on, like, an orange cleanse, basically, you know?
Wait a minute, hang on.
And, like, you know, obviously, like, Nojiko is, like, you know, too smart for that, you know? She knows that, you know, like, she doesn't have enough money to buy food for herself and also, like, for the children. So, like... But just, like, the fact, like, she's made so many sacrifices for these kids. Even, like, just showing up to the island with them and being like, they have fevers, they're sick, like, you need to help them. While she's, like, bleeding out, basically.
Yeah.
And just being, like, and that's, like, And that's how you know, like, even from that first moment that she saved them and, you know, she took them away and everything like that, that from that moment on, she had that motherly love in her heart for them. Like, she did, absolutely. Sure. And, like, just seeing that and, like, seeing this family that they built. Like, it wasn't one that had started out. She didn't give birth to them. She had no, like, actual familial connection to them. But she treated them no different from a regular family. To the point where she actually smacked Nami.
Yeah!
When she was like...
so mad.
When she was like, you know, you probably don't even want us. You probably, like, you would be better off without us. We're not even a real family. And when she says that, like, Bellemere is just like, no, absolutely not. Like, we are a family. And then, like, Genzo also saying later to, like, Nami and everything, like, you guys have, like, a stronger bond than, like, a family. Like, your bond is so strong with each other, you know? I just love Bellemere so much. And then her, at the end, realizing, I think, in that moment that there wouldn't be an escape for them. They wouldn't be able to get away. That there was probably nothing that she could do, sacrificing herself by being like, that money was for my kids. I'm not ever going to deny that I have a family. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, isn't that so good?
I cry every time I read it.
Oh, I'm tearing up just hearing it.
I'm tearing up now.
It's so good. It's so amazing. It's like, this is the thing about, so this is one of the things that I really like about One Piece, that I think is like a real, like thing that I almost wish I could do better at, like doing in life, is this whole, like, this insistence on, like, listen, like, there are ideas that are enough to die for. Like, there are, like this, like, the whole family, like, she's like, even at the cost of my life, I wouldn't deny that they're my girls. And I love them with everything. Like, that's so cool! That takes so much courage and strength, and, like, there's, like, all kinds of things, too. Like, they're Easter egg wise, I guess, is it Easter eggs? Is that what you'd call them? I don't know. But they say she was a Marine. She was with the Navy. I believe they say she went to the Grand Line, too. So she's seen, like, real combat. And if you look at the picture in the flashback, when she has Nami and Nojiko coming back, she's wearing a coat, which means that she was an officer.
Right.
Like, she wasn't just an infantry woman. She was an officer in the Marines. Yeah. Like, she was not fodder. I mean, who knows? Maybe she was a captain. They're just giving out the captain position. They're just giving it to whoever they want at this point. But she was like,
sorry, really quick. Just like one of the coolest moments ever to me was when Arlong opened the door.
Oh my gosh!
He rolled his ass over and stuck the gun right in his mouth. Yo, that was so flippin' cool. Like, I was like, you are a badass. Like, that man is twice the size of any human, and she flipped him. Like, that is so crazy.
She busts the door down, flips him, puts the rifle in his mouth, and she's like, you picked the wrong house, motherfucker. Like, she's like, you picked the wrong place.
She's such a badass. Like,
that is maybe the single, like, one of the coolest, like, choreographed scenes in manga. Like, that is so, the way she does that is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and then even like Arlong then being able to just chew the barrel up is like devastating, right? And I think that's the moment, right? Because you see like an abrupt change where like all of a sudden she's like, all right, I can't win.
Yeah.
Like, so then it changes from the fight response to she's trying to think of like how she can make this work. And I think you're right. I think she does know that. I think that Marine experience is telling her, even if the doctor gets them off the island, right, gets them on a ship and sends them away, they're not gonna, even if Arlong doesn't get them, they're not gonna make it to another island. Like,
no.
And if they do, what happens to them? Like, she's like, I think she knows that, like, in the long run, it is safer for them to stay there because Arlong's just going to hunt down any ships. And obviously he does that right away. It's the first thing he does after doing this to the village. But it is the dopest thing in the world that she stands up and crosses her arms when Arlong has the flintlock on her head.
Yeah.
And she just goes, it says, Nami, Nojiko, I love you. And then gets shot. Oh, it hurts.
It hurts so much.
And that's it. And that's all from Bella. Bellamere is one of the coolest characters. She's one of the coolest side characters. Definitely one of my favorite flashback characters that we ever see. Yeah. But she's so cool. And then this is so like this arc really this read through for me was really the first read through that I had of One Piece of this arc, at least, where I like really like Nami. I like him real. She's awesome. She's really a great character. And like this, the single moment that really like fully shifted it in my head to being like going from like my least favorite Straw Hat to like probably top 3 for me is when she goes in that like they capture her, right, and they're taking her away, and Genzo comes after him and Karubi like slices him up, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna go back after her. Like they're trying to fight. They're like, you're not gonna take Nami. We're all gonna die. And she screams out, "No, don't help me. It's fine. I'll be fine. Don't come after it. Don't come after me." That is insane. I mean, this is like what is she? She's 7, I think, at this time.
Yeah.
Like
She's
this
so
7-year-old girl is like, please don't come after me. Please don't get hurt anymore. Like the amount of pain that is and then like also like sober mindedness to be like the same day that your mother is shot in front of you, like you see, like she's lying there still, and you're like, please everyone stop, nobody else come help me. It's just so strong, and so like I love that this whole, and we even touched on this before, it's like this whole Kokoyashi village is literally just like we will endure so that we can get through it. Like everybody in this village is just like, we will be strong enough to live, and eventually we'll get out of this, but we've got to live. And that's like, even Nami is displaying that at such a young age. And this, I love that Nami's like love of money is started before the tragedy. Like we see that like she already senses this lack of money. She wants money, because they don't have it with Bellamere. Like she already has that kind of started, and then it's only exacerbated by this tragedy, because somewhere in her head she's like, if we had money, and I think they even say that, don't they? Doesn't she say, if we had money we wouldn't have to leave? Like we could just pay him off.
Yeah.
I like that it started like that. I don't know. It's just, I really like Nami. Nami's great. This flashback is amazing. Nami's just great. But yeah, did you have any other flashback thoughts? I don't want to like move on if you had more, but
no, that was pretty much all I had about the flashback.
Genzo getting himself ripped up.
Yep. Torn to shreds.
It's really cool scars that he has now, but like that had to hurt so bad.
It had to hurt a lot.
How did it not? How did it not cut through him at all? Yeah, like how is he like Karubi just like skinned him a little bit like everywhere? Like what? Yeah. You have a doctor. He sewed up the scars. Why are there scars like 7 years later? Anyway. This is a bad doctor, is what that is. You have a bad doctor.
You're asking too many questions. He looks cool, okay?
Yeah, the doctor does. Genzo looks amazing. I love that he has the scars and the pinwheel. It's perfect. Yes. I also love. Oh, I do have one more flashback thing. I'm not done. I love that. I love it. So like, in my head, right before when I read this, I was always like, why does Bellamere not just like ask Genzo for money, like, or like anyone else in this village? It seems like they're willing to help her, like at all times, I don't know why she doesn't just be like, yeah, I'm starving to death. Can I please get help? Like before Arlong, like, comes, right? I'm talking, like, you know, when she's, like, not eating. I'm like, why does she just ask them? And I was like, it's because she's doing this, like, she's confident and, like, she's like, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to raise these girls myself, and I'm going to be successful at it. And, like, before I was kind of like, I don't get that. But, like, I don't know. I kind of think it's cool now. I'm like, I like that. And I like that Genzo doesn't do it. I like that he leaves her to go, you know? Like, he lets her go. Like, clearly he would help, you know what I mean? Like, I think he even tells Nami, like, I would buy the book. Like, you know, he, like, clearly would help, right? But, like, he just doesn't, like, he doesn't do it because it's, you know, it would be demeaning almost to Bellamere. And I don't know, there's something cool about that, too.
Right.
But yeah, so then our favorite Marine captain, because that title means nothing, comes and tears up the. Oh, this is a translation issue, I think. What does Bellamere grow in the scans that you're reading?
In the scan, she grows oranges, but I think
oranges.
It's actually supposed to be tangerines,
It's
right?
definitely tangerines in the official. Here's the thing, right? I couldn't tell you the difference between a tangerine and an orange.
I don't either.
I don't quite know, but why? Why is it so? Why would Viz look at oranges and be like, you know what? We're gonna say it was tangerines for sure. I don't understand why they would do that.
Like, there's
it's
such
fine.
a minuscule difference. I feel
It's
like
not. It's like it's an orange fruit with a peel. Like it's gonna work either way you slice it.
It's
anyway.
a citrus fruit.
Yes. So the mystery citrus fruit. He starts digging it up, looking for the money. He takes the money.
He takes it. All of it.
That's messed up. That's so messed up.
When she's only 7 million berries away.
Yes, that's so messed up. And this leads to the single scariest moment for me in this entire series. It doesn't get higher than this. This is the scariest thing I can remember happening in One Piece, and I'm caught up to present day. This terrifies me to my core. This moment, right? You know the moment. Nami walks into Arlong, and she's like, you took the money, you set me up. And he grabs her chin and says, now what promise did I break? It's the scariest thing in the world to me. Because there is and then Nami tears up a little bit. It's absolute helplessness. There's nothing she can do.
Nope.
And she walks in with this plan. She thinks Arlong's a reasonable guy, and so far he has proven to actually he does keep his promises. So she doesn't really have a reason not to believe that he would let it happen.
Right.
But that moment where he's he clearly, everybody is aware that he did the thing, right? Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Nobody, it's not a mystery to anybody. And he just flat out lies like that while he's clearly domineering over her. Sitting in the chair is taller than her. And has her by the that's so scary to me.
It's terrifying.
It's one of the most intimidating moments.
What's so crazy to me is even after that, even after all of that has happened, right? Nami knows that she knows in her mind there's probably no more hope for this now. I won't be able to save the village this way because this is just probably going to keep happening, right? But she still goes back to the village and tells them to not fight because everything will be fine, and now it'll be so much easier for her to get the money back, because she's had practice at this, she's had time, she knows what she's doing now, and all that. And she still tells them to not risk their lives, to not sacrifice themselves for the village,
Yeah. I love that moment too, where Genzo grabs the knife and is we're gonna go and do this.
We're doing it.
He's you've suffered enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, and even like his acknowledgement of like, we know we can't win. We know that we're gonna die. But like, we're gonna go. Because this is, we have to do this. It's almost like it's for her. Like, it's almost like they're so mad that like, it's like the whole town is so mad that they've just like used Nami like this. That they're like, we're gonna stake it all. We're gonna do it all. We're gonna risk it all, and we're probably gonna lose. We think we're gonna lose. We don't think we can win, but we're gonna go anyway.
But we're gonna do it it's like, anyway.
It creates such a feeling, like the perfect atmosphere of like absolute hopelessness, right? Because we've already had the backstory, right? We've seen what happened there, and then you get this moment with Arlong, where he's like, tell me again what I didn't do, like, tell me again, like this like absolute feeling of like, you got to start over, and even if you do it again, I'm probably gonna just do this again, like, so it's like it creates, and then she tries to stop the villagers, and they don't listen to her. They just go. They're like, we're gonna fight, like we're tired of doing it, you know, we're gonna fight. Like, it creates such a feeling of helplessness in Nami. Like, she has nowhere to go, and she doesn't have assistance. And then that, like, crazy stabbing of the Arlong Pirates tattoo on her arm. Oh.
She just lost it. Like, she's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
And then, of course, the iconic moment that's been in every, like, emotional AMV ever existing for the story of One Piece, where she turns around and says, help. Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh.
And then Luffy puts the hat on her head.
Puts the hat on her head.
Okay, and now it's theory time for a moment. I have a large theory that if I'm right about this, I'll feel like I won the lottery, right? I didn't actually catch up. I wasn't a weekly reader, right, until like Punk Hazard, which is an arc that we may get to in the next 25 years. But I wasn't. Needless to say, it's not soon. It's not next week.
It's not coming up.
I wasn't a weekly reader until then, right? So I read most of the series, like, that has been produced so far, like, consecutively, you know. But I think that this. So Oda doesn't do relationships, right? And he said that like several times in interviews. He's like, I don't care about romance, so I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. He's like, I'm bad at it, I think, so I'm just gonna ignore it, if that's all right with you all. and so the things he does do are like stupidly, like Sanchi, like.
Yeah.
Like, it's like there's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's not romance. That's just him being him. So like he doesn't, like, he uses his gags. That's how he uses romance. I think, my guess is that at the end of this whole series, Luffy and Nami are going to end up together in some way. I don't know. We're going to see their kid. Something's going to happen. Because I think that this moment is entirely unique to the two of them. Luffy never does this to another person. Ever. From here on out. Nope. And he never lets anybody else have the hat. Much less puts it on their head. This is insane. This is like, especially because at this point in the story even, right? We know how much this hat means to him. He got so mad at Buggy for ripping it, and then ironically Nami did fix it. But like him like having her hold the hat is so good. But yeah, I think that this is I think this means there is like a bond that is unique between those two. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's my theory train is over, but
theory train.
It's one of the greatest moments. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
And then
he puts the hat on her and he just runs away and just screams. He just screams, "Of course I will." Like,
I love it.
That's what he's been waiting for this whole flippin' time.
I love it. This is why he fell asleep in the street.
I want you to help me. Like, I need you to help me.
And he's in. And then he says, and this is why I said, like, before, that, like, the people that heard her backstory, it's perfect for, right? Because we need all four of these guys to be exactly the right emotional spot to do that, to go into Arlong Park, right?
Right.
Because when he says, "Let's go," and all three of them say right and just stand up. It's so amazing. It's so, like, of course Sanji says it, right? Zoro, like I said before, is just going to follow his orders. But, like, for Usopp to be that confident, like, they are like, let's go. It's like, we're going to handle it. I love it. I love it. It's so good. And you don't even get one of my favorite scenes in the anime is when they walk up in that line into Arlong Park. I love that scene so much. I love it so much. It's not even in the manga, but I just love it so much.
It's like the squad is pulling up to wreck your ass.
And then Luffy busts in, right? It's just the perfect motivations, right? It leaves all of the characters with like a perfect level, right? No one's confused anymore. Everybody's absolutely on board. Nami needs help, and she is our friend. We're gonna help. Like I like that. I like that it's like that. I also like the usage of Johnny and Yosuke. I like that they're like standing there like, you guys can't go in. We got our asses handed to us. We heard the story in the trees, and then we felt really bad, so we came here and they demolished us. We got hurt. we got beat bad. We're covered in blood like this.
Real bad.
Yeah, it was not fun. We're
waiting for a certain. It's like we're waiting for a certain group of men to arrive, and the villagers are like, "What are you talking about?"
It's so good. And then like Luffy busts through the wall, and then it's like, "Who's Arlong?" And Arlong's still sitting, is like, "Me," and he punches him. Like that was a hard punch. Like he flies. I love it. It's so good. It's just such the confidence and idiocy of Luffy in that first part is so good.
Right.
I love I love that in this very serious fight we can still work in like multiple gags, right? Like Usopp, like when he sticks, all he does with Momo, and he sticks his feet in the ground, and then Usopp's trying to get him out. And he's like, "Can you point your toes?" And Luffy's like sitting there picking his nose, like he's not helping at all. He's just like, "Nope, they're not budging. They're not coming out."
Usopp's like, "Is it coming yet? Is it coming yet?" Luffy's like, "No,
no, definitely not." Like he uses him like a rubber band. He like springs him into one of the fish, into Chew. He like hits Chew with him, and then I just love it.
I love it. Starts running.
It's a good. I think like the whole like Arlong throwing him in the sea is another good like, why is Luffy not just fighting immediately kind of thing. Like we need some kind of thing, something to. Oda does this all the time. Or we'll see this too. He likes to give each crew member like a fight, and then especially in the major arcs, he likes to give everybody like a moment, like a opponent to fight. But to do that, he's almost always got to like take Luffy out of the picture for a minute,
right?
So that the other crew members have time to shine. So this was I'm okay with how they did it this time. Like, Luffy is an absolute moron, so I believe that he would stick his feet in the ground.
Then he would,
So this is a very believable place that we've wound up. And Arlong is still not taking him seriously, so for him to just, like, not actually kill him, but just chuck him in the ocean makes a lot of sense. Like, because Arlong doesn't take him actually seriously. He's like, oh, he's got devil fruit powers, that's why he's strong. But this is also, like, not... This is not the first time he's seen devil fruit powers either. Arlong's definitely seen them before.
Yeah.
And so he's not that
been on
shocked.
The Grand Line, so
he's not shocked. He's just like,
oh,
I'll just throw him in the ocean. So that'll take care of that. But that gets us
like,
into
I know
the
how to solve
one-on-ones.
this.
Yeah. He's like, I got an answer. But that gets us into the one-on-ones. And so Zoro versus Hachi. How do you feel? Give me Zoro versus Hachi thoughts.
I love Hachi a lot, to be honest.
So much! Oh, so much!
He's funny.
So dumb.
He's so dumb. He just thinks Zoro is a guest at first, like.
Oh, it's perfect.
And then he gets mad at him for deceiving him, and everybody rating is like, "You're the one that's stupid." Though.
Yeah, it's you. It's not him. This is not. He is not at fault.
Like Zoro was just, you asked him if he was a guest. Like he didn't even have to offer that up. Like But I really love it because it does show. I love the whole commentary that Zoro has about, like, it's not about how many swords you carry, it's about, like, the weight that's behind it, you know? Like, I love that commentary so much because, like, this whole time we see him carrying 3 swords and we're like, okay, that's kind of like, it seems like overkill almost. Like, right? You're like, he doesn't have to carry all 3 swords, you know, and all that. And then this is like the one time where he encounters an opponent that has more swords than him. And he's like, and the opponent is like, oh, of course I'm gonna beat you because I have more swords than you. And Zoro makes that statement about how, you know, it's not about how many swords you carry, it's about, like, the weight behind them, you know? Like, how heavy they are, you know? And, like, then Hachi makes this whole joke about, you don't even know how heavy my swords are. My swords are this many kilograms. And Zoro's just like, this guy's not gonna get it, so let me just...
I love, this is another thing, though, about, like, this is another thing he goes back to, I think a couple weeks ago even, is when we mentioned, like, I talked about, like, Zoro and Luffy have not had, like, straight up fair fights.
No.
Right? Like, I think Zoro versus Mihawk was straight up and fair. Like, there wasn't any limitations on Zoro in that fight. But I think that was the point, right? He's so, like, this is Zoro at his best, and there's no chance. But, like, Zoro was cripplingly injured in this fight with Hachi.
Yes. Very
and
injured.
Like, and so, like, him still beating him is like, he's like so much better than Hachi. It's not funny. And this is like an officer of the Arlong Pirates. So, like, Hachi is definitely very strong. He's not, he's no weakling, but I love that it shows how, like, Zoro is incredibly strong. It's another one of those, like, it's kind of hard to gauge because he is definitely injured a lot.
And even, like, the willpower that he has, because he knows, like, in his head, he keeps saying, I feel like I'm gonna pass out at any second. Like, I feel like I'm gonna just, like, knock out at any second. But I can't. I have to keep pushing. I have to do this, you know? And he does that, and he, like, stays awake on willpower alone, basically.
Yeah. Would you see, like, I don't know if you caught this, but, like, so when he's, like, trying to hold Arlong off while Sanji kicks Luffy free, right?
Yeah.
Arlong, like, you know, slaps him around and, like, picks him up and then rips his bandages off. And Arlong sees the cut and Arlong gets scared. Like, Arlong says something like, that is not the look of a dead man. And he looks at the cut and he's like, that he should be dead. Like, and, like, you could see in Arlong's eyes, it's almost like for a moment, and Arlong, I think, even said, like, I need to kill him. It's almost like the acknowledgement of, like, this guy could be an issue in the future.
Right.
Like, if he doesn't die here, he could be a real problem. What I love about that, right, is that Arlong does not take Luffy seriously the entire time until the very end, right? And so I love that, like, I love these moments where, like, an opponent will look at Zoro and be like, he is incredibly intimidating and I'm scared of him. But Zoro defers to Luffy. You know what I mean? Like, and so, like, how crazy does that make Luffy if this, you know what I mean? It's just like, everybody always is intimidated by Zoro, which makes sense. Zoro is definitely the more visually intimidating one of the two of them. But, like, the fact that Zoro will defer to Luffy, the fact that he's so staunchly the first mate of this crew and not the captain is just really, like, it's inspiring, I'll say. I really like that moment where Arlong takes the bandages off and is like, I gotta kill this guy. I gotta kill this guy now. Because he's gonna be a problem. But yeah. So Sanji versus Karubi. How did you feel? This is our first Sanji one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
And he dunks on Karubi, that's for sure. Well, I mean, once they get out of the water. In the water, not so much.
Yeah, that was a rough time in the water. For our boy Sanji. He was getting all different kinds of pressure things happening to him.
His organs were blowing up.
Yeah, like his organs were exploding, basically. But then, like, even in this moment when he's experiencing such intense pain, when, he's being dragged to the floor and back up to the top of the ocean, changing pressures rapidly, which, human bodies are not supposed to be able to withstand. He still has the insight to be like, I know how to stop him now. Like, I just got the idea. Right. I got it. I just have to blow air into his gills, and that will, stop him. Because, he's a fish right now, basically. He's more fish than man right now. So if I do that, then he won't be able to breathe, just like I'm not able to breathe right now. And more than that, if you blow air into his gills, obviously, it's going to cause some serious damage. Because, that's basically like somebody pumping water into your lungs, right? That's
right.
That would be like the reverse, right? It would be really that. Bad. So, which is not good, So,
right.
But I just thought it was really impressive that he had that, foresight to just do that in the moment.
Yeah, it's. I like that it fits with his whole understanding of cooking, especially cooking at sea. He's going to understand fish biology more than probably most. But, yeah, I really I love once they get out of the water that he, just stomps him. He destroys him. It really just sets the tone for how strong these guys are. They're not, these are tough guys. Zoro and Sanji are really strong.
Yes.
Because these are, officer fishmen. But, yeah. Yeah, and then Usopp and Chew. Usopp got his own little fight.
Yes.
With my least favorite of the fishman officers, because he kind of creeps me out, but...
I mean, he sucks, but...
I don't like those lips. I hate the lips.
I don't like how he has a little heart after things.
No, I hate the smack with a heart. I hate that. Yeah, but I just like seeing Usopp be, creative in this fight.
Yes.
He's figuring out a way. And that moment, the moment where he's laying on the ground, right? And Shu's gone. And he gets back up. I'm oh, these are the things I love about Usopp. This is what I love to see.
We talk about.
Right. This is what I love to see.
Being brave. He's trying to formulate all these different things in his mind of, oh yeah, so this is what I'll tell them, or that's what I'll tell them, whatever, and then he realizes that he can't do that anymore. That now he's not just pretending he's a real pirate. I
love it.
So he has to stand up and fight. And I love it so much too.
What I love about that moment is I super relate with Usopp at all times, right? Which is not the most flattering depiction of myself, but I super relate with Usopp all the time. But this thing he does to himself, this conversation he has with himself, I have had similar conversations with myself, right? I'm working it out in my head. I'm oh, this is what I'll say. I can get out of it this way, right? And then there is that moment of whenever you realize I can't do that anymore. I have to stand up and fight. It's it's so good. I love seeing the moment. It's again just makes Usopp more relatable to me. But and then he wins the fight, and he's so hype about it too. He's I took a fishman out.
I took a fishman out.
And he should be hype. He should be hype. Because that man is 10 Usopps. At least 10 Usopps.
Absolutely.
That man is at least that. So he should be hype.
Yeah.
He should be hype, but it was a good fight. It wasn't a very long fight, but it was good. And I like those emotional moments with Usopp always. I just love seeing my boy get screen time, Love to see it.
Screen time.
And then of course, there's the big one, which is Luffy versus Arlong. What'd you think about that fight?
I love that fight so much. One of my favorite things, my favorite moment in that fight, probably almost everybody's favorite moment, is when they get to Nami's drawing room. Oh my gosh. And Luffy immediately, as soon as he knows what it is, lunges the desk out of the room and starts wrecking everything in that room. And Arlong is almost trying to rationalize with him, right? And be this is what Nami worked on for 8 years though. Why are you destroying it? But Luffy knows that, like, she never wanted to do any of this for him, and that it was just, this was like her prison cell, basically.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is where she was forced to make things for a man she knew was evil, and, like, all that stuff, and he just starts, like, wrecking it, and that's just, like, one of my favorite moments in this fight. Like, my favorite moment in this fight is when he does that. And, like, so just cool. Nami even being able to, from a distance, recognize what Luffy is doing right now. And saying thank you. And being like, thank you. Because she knows what he's doing.
It's so good. Great. I love that everybody else is like, what's going on up there? It must be a crazy fight for all this stuff to fly out of the... But, like, she's the only one that gets it. And that creates such, like, this, like... quiet moment, like almost between the two of them, that no one else gets because they're all like they don't understand what's happening. But Luffy, and I think even Luffy says to Arlong, "I get it now. This is the problem. This room is the problem."
Yeah.
And that's when he starts hitting everything out of the. I like the dilemma that Arlong presents. It's not really a complicated one like some of the other ones, right? But it's like I like the idea that he's like, listen, she'll stay here with me forever. She'll draw these maps of all the East Blue, and I'll give her anything she wants. Like, I'll hold nothing back from her. Like, she can have anything. She can have all the riches in the world she wants. She just has to draw for me. That's it.
Yeah.
She can come and go as she pleases. She can do whatever she wants. As long as she does her work, I don't care. You know?
Yeah.
It is like, if you think about it, right? It's like he's saying, I'll give you anything you want as long as you do this. As long as you work for this. But there's clearly, none of us would say, like, oh, well, maybe you should consider it. You know?
Right.
Have you thought this through? Like, none of us would say that because of who Arlong is. Which is so, it, like, says something about, like, I think, how important it is to have, like, you know, even in, like, less, you know, murdery situations, to have, like, the ability to believe in those that you're working on anything with makes whatever you're doing, one, way easier, and two, way more enjoyable. Absolutely. And so, like, and because essentially she's doing the same job, she's just doing it for Luffy. Like, she still is navigator. It's not that much different. It's clearly less labor intensive, but it's not that much different from what she was doing for Arlong. But the difference is all in who she's with and why that matters. And I just, I don't know. I think it matters who we surround ourselves with, and I think that's because that's really the only difference. But
definitely.
I think that the end of this fight, when Arlong Park itself falls, I think this is the best, like, one of Luffy's best, like, at least to date that we've gotten to so far, right? I think this is the clearest, like, thematic picture. Him standing above that rubble, and, like, yelling, Nami, you're with us. Yeah. Like, you're with our crew, you're one of our friends now. Like, is, like, so thematically rich. It's just so good. Like, the literal castle that was looming over this island, he brought down with his foot.
Yep. And
then released them all, and like, they were all free. And of course, Captain Nezumi also gets beat up, which is what we've all been waiting for, because Nezumi sucks. I hate Nezumi a lot.
Rat man.
And then they party for days. And again, let me just throw another coin in the. Is there something going on with Luffy and Nami, Oda? What are you trying to tell me? The conversation that Genzo and Luffy have at Bellemir's grave is very much like dad giving daughter away conversation, right? Like,
that is what it's like.
I was
He's like, if you ever hurt her, I will actually kill you. And, like, that is
good luck,
like
Genzo.
Right. I mean,
we've established that you are not going to be able to. I think we've thoroughly established that.
Yeah, but that is very much so what it feels like, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, anyway. But I like that scene even. I like how funny Luffy is. He says condolences like 6 different ways. Like he can't.
Yeah, he's like.
He's got like meat in his mouth.
Like, dishes, no.
Yeah, no. Genzo has to give it to him. Condolences,
Right.
those. That's the one. I love how stupid he is. How do you feel about Nami's departure? Nami's departing from the island.
I like it, actually.
I love it too. I love it so much. It's so perfect.
She steals everything.
Yeah. I love that she
like,
leaves her money, but steals
Right.
the other people's money.
Yeah.
I really
right.
think it represents like the freedom, right? I think that's what it's supposed to do. It's like she is still greedy. Like that's still
Yes.
a part of who she is. And like I said before, I think it's like it's been part of her from longer before than Arlong came. Right?
Yeah.
It's still a part of her, but but like now she could just do it for fun. Like she's doing this
Yeah.
for fun. She's not like there's no so she leaves all of her money but takes everybody else's wallets, which is just
Right.
like a pain, you know what I mean? Like the DMV is
Yeah.
backed up for like weeks cuz everybody lost their IDs. Like nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
I mean,
DMV in this era.
there's no cars. I don't know why it's a DMV. There's clearly no cars. I don't know. Never mind. They probably don't have anything to worry about, but
Yeah.
passports? Do they have passports, you think? I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure they don't at this time.
They clearly haven't gone anywhere in 7 years because Arlong would have put a
No.
stop to that.
Right.
Anyway. No, I think it's a good departure too. I really like it. I think it's like a cheeky way to depart. And it just, Nami, I really am a fan of like, I think this time I saw that Nami is incredibly strong emotionally.
Yeah.
And I've never quite grasped that in any of my other read-throughs of this series
Yeah.
before now. Like, just how strong she is. And, like,
really
obviously
is.
this is a huge weight that she doesn't have anymore, right? But,
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that. I thought it was really good. Also, just a little food for thought for future, way in the future, as in, like, we haven't seen it yet. Nami is not Bellamir's daughter, so there is always the possibility that we're gonna find her family, like where she's from, and I don't know if that's
Right.
gonna matter, but it might matter. We don't know, but yeah, I always thought it interesting and the same thing is with Zoro, right? Zoro just showed up in a village one time and was like, I'm gonna be part of this dojo. What's going
Where's
on
his
there?
family?
Who let this kid roam
Where
around?
did he come from?
Yeah, why does he have green hair for
Why
that
does
matter?
he have moss green hair?
Yeah, I need some explanation. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you could say the same for Sanji too, but we know more
Yeah.
about him, so I won't get into that. But, and Usopp's already the son of a pirate. We know where he's coming
Yeah,
from.
we know. We've seen both of Usopp's parents.
Yes, we have. We saw the nose before it was.
We've seen the nose.
Anyway, that's all I had about like the main arc. Do you have anything else about the main arc?
No, I do
Yeah.
not.
So, have you been paying attention to cover pages? Is that a thing that you've seen?
Kind of. I'm not really sure if they do them right on the scans, though.
That
It kind of seems I'll get one like every once in a while, but sometimes
It's not every
it just
chapter.
won't be there. Yeah.
It's not every chapter. They alternate.
So maybe I haven't get it. Like I saw Kobe and
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I think I did. I got at least some of it this time because I was paying attention.
Kobe and Helmeppo are training up.
Yeah!
Axel Morgan I think the last one we saw was Axel Morgan, like, cut whoever that guy, Garp guy was.
Yeah.
The Marine guy that I'm being super vague in because I'm trying not to pretend I know who he is.
Whoever he is.
But yeah, no, I just love the Kobe's grinding, you know?
Yeah.
I love the Kobe. Let me
And Helmeppo, he decided to actually join the grind, even though he's
know.
doing it unwillingly, kind of a little bit.
But I love that he's here, right? I love that he's sticking it out. I love that him and
Yeah.
Kobe are friends. It's so fun.
It's so great.
I'm confident that Helmeppo will be a better person if we ever see him again than he is now, because he's hanging out with Kobe. Like, I'm confident that that's going to happen. But yeah, hopefully he's not still the same guy. That would suck. A quick side, right? So, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you might know a One Piece YouTuber by the name of Mr. Morge. So this guy, right? He had this contest of, like, he was trying to hire somebody to, like, look up One Piece panels for him, like, a while ago, right?
Yeah.
And me and my friend Cliff, who's actually been on this podcast, right? He was like, you got to take this test that you're gonna find these different panels for him, right? And so Cliff sends his application in, right? You know what he sends in with the application? He sends a picture.
What?
He found this picture of Kobe studying at late at night, one of these cover pages, and he sent that in too. And I'm like, oh, you're a genius. I wish he would have gotten the job. He didn't, but I don't know if Mr. Morge even ended up I don't even know if Mr. Morge ended up hiring anybody to do this. He never talked about it again, but it's definitely like, I was like, oh, how genius is it that he's got like an encyclopedic knowledge of this show. But anyway, yeah. So we saw Kobe and Helmeppo. We also saw the end of the Buggy thing. Buggy's gang is back together.
Right.
But yeah, Kobe and Helmeppo training was the big thing. So that brings us to, who is your shining star this arc?
My shining star this arc is gonna be, even though she was just in a backflash, it's Bellemere.
It's absolutely. That's a great choice. I would never ever besmirch that choice. Her star belongs on that wall. Don't ever take it away.
She's got the star from me.
Yeah, this was very hard, right? But I really think this read-through, I'm giving it to Nami. Because this read-through, Nami really, really impacted me. Like, I really liked her this time. Usually I would give it to Arlong, but Nami's going to get it this time.
Yeah.
Because, I'm really into Arlong, as we've talked about. So, yeah, if you don't have anything else, that's all I got.
Nice. Oh, are we gonna do our favorite arcs again too?
Oh yeah.
Ranking.
We should probably do that. How's this arc stack up? What's your favorite arc?
I think this one is my favorite arc currently.
For sure. Not even a question.
So good. It's really good.
It's so good. And I think it's supposed to be, right? I really think that this is supposed to be like the culmination of the Straw Hat Pirates, right? I think this is supposed to be like the whole group is in on this one. Oda is like establishing a formula, and this is where he's like, this is the equation that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do build up, then I'm gonna hit you with this big one, and this was the big one. So I mean, it makes sense.
The big one. Yep.
But yeah, no, this is definitely also my favorite. Arlong Park is great. But yeah, so next week is way shorter. We're doing the Logtown arc, which is chapters 96 to 100, which is 5 chapters for those of you playing along at home. So good news, you'll be able to read it quickly. All 2 of our listeners, you'll be able to read it super quick, and then listen to this podcast. So that's great. But yeah, so we'll do Logtown next week. Yeah, but that's all I have. Thanks guys for listening. Subscribe to the channel. We do this every week, as well as I do the weekly newsletters too for Weekly Shonen Jump. If you're interested in that, definitely check those videos out. But till next time, this is the PillowFort Podcast.